Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. You know that, but more importantly, let me introduce America's marketing motivator. She is Kathy McAfee, and she's very enterprising, and she talks to us about branding and interviewing techniques and do's and don'ts. And by the way, you were saying to me before we get in here you wanted to talk about a certain thing. Now just say it on the air. What do you want to talk about?
Okay, excellent. Well, today I wanted to talk about the power of your voice and the power of your body language in influencing others, whether that's influencing during a job interview or influencing when you're pitching an idea to the boss. But how can you leverage your voice and your body to present yourself and your ideas more powerfully?
1 second. Leverage. By the way, log on the information. Kathy's website's got great stuff. Check it out.
Thank you.
What do you mean leverage your voice?
Well, use your voice, Steve, just like you're using it right now, because what people focus so much on words, the specific words we either choose to write about or speak because we want to sound intelligent, but then they don't realize the full, what I'm going to call the vocal dashboard that you have available to you. For example, I like to think there are 5 dials on your vocal dashboard. You have the tone, which is your pitch, high pitch or low pitch, and we all have a range. Okay? Sometimes if we're a singer, we have a really big range, but all of us have a range.
Right.
Okay? You have your tempo. Are you a fast talker or a slow talker? Guess what? You can speed it up and you can slow it down.
In the Northeast, we tend to speak a little quicker.
Faster?
I was doing a seminar in Alabama one time, and they asked me to slow down, and I said, how much slower can I? And I realized I do speak very quickly.
Yeah. Particularly in presentations, you want to slow it down 20%, 25%. That versus your normal conversational speed. So you have tone, you have tempo, you have timbre, which is the quality of your voice.
Timbre?
Timbre. So that is...
Deep?
Well, timbre, do you speak clear as a bell? When you say the word important, do you hear the T or not?
What about the mumblers?
The mumblers, yeah, they're at a whole different level.
Okay, I'm sorry, because there's some of my people come in and I go, what?
Right, so...
Is that a timbre issue?
I think in some cases it is a timbre. But you also can have more what I call texture to the voice. You can have the radio voice. You can have, when you have a cold,
yes,
you can have just a little more of a texture. And sometimes in certain situations, that texture could work for you. But sometimes you want to be as clear as a bell. So that is your timbre knob on your vocal dashboard. And then the last one is volume. So there's times I'm going to want to raise my voice, and times I want to lower my voice. And then my very favorite button, Steve. You ready? On the vocal dashboard.
Your favorite button.
The mute button.
Are you telling me to shut up?
No, I'm telling you to know that sometimes silence is very powerful, and you know that.
Listen, I'm a student of communication, always trying to learn more, and I'm obsessed by this silence issue. There are some people, you know who you are, some family members, you should find the mute button quick.
Find the mute button.
But here's the thing, why is silence so powerful?
I think it's because it creates space. It creates, actually it heightens interest. If you're giving a presentation, for example, and you choose to put some space between your thoughts, you're going to actually engage your audience more versus just filling all the spaces. And guess what you fill them with?
Sure.
Ums and ahs and comfort words that make us look not so, confident. So if we can have a thought and then...
Can I give you, for instance, tell me if it works?
Yes, please.
I look at the camera and I say, listen, the next thing I'm about to tell you is absolutely going to change your life, and here it is. So they're waiting for it.
Right, exactly. They're waiting for it.
Now, I have nothing, by the way. I just want to set that up. But that's what is that what you mean?
Absolutely.
But doesn't
Absolutely.
That, some people, when I do full disclosure, I do some coaching and training on presentation skills, and some clients will be like, oh, that feels so unnatural, and I'll say, really? It's just because you haven't done it before.
Right. You have to practice it. So you call it pregnant pause, strategic pausing. I mean, answering questions. Are you going to ramble off the answer right away? No, you're going to pause, think about it, think about what the real question is, and then answer. So just knowing that you have that on your vocal dashboard, that you can leverage it to be more powerful and more influential.
Talk to me about women. One of my colleagues, Pat Cushon at Seton Hall University, professor of gender communication, she's excellent, calls it upspeak. Women, you call it...
Well, this is a tone. This is in the tone range. So when we speak up and we're making a recommendation that we think is really good for the business, young professionals do this too, and it's almost a Valley Girl, Canadians do this too apparently. They end up on their sentences, and what ends up happening is they create doubt in what they're saying. Now, doubt can be strategic. I can create doubt. Is this really okay with you?
Sure.
Are you satisfied with the solution? If you did my vocal range, you'll notice I ended up.
You're asking me a question, or you're making a statement?
Exactly. Well, I can work with both, right?
Okay.
So
By the way,
go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting while we're talking about all these things, but my producer's saying you have to move to the nonverbals. Finish that last point.
Okay.
Finish that last point.
So what we need to do is learn that listen for when we're going up, know when we're making a statement. So this is a question, this is a statement, and my very favorite, for women in particular, is learn how to use the command tonality. Learn how to go low and slow. So if I'm giving a recommendation, I think this is the best solution now. I think this is the best solution for you. Low and slow. And again, eye contact, and we'll go into nonverbal next, but I can use a commanding voice. I can ask you a question and use a commanding tone, and you're going to pay attention to me more.
Nonverbals.
Nonverbals. 55% of the communication that you're receiving from me, and look at my hands, my hands
Sure.
are moving, my eye contact, my posture is all nonverbal. And yet some of us just flail away or look down at the carpet, and that kills our credibility and our influence.
Someone says, devil's advocate, why
Yes?
can't you just pay attention to what I'm saying? Why do you get caught up in what my shoulders are doing, my eyes are doing, and my hands are doing? Why can't you just pay attention? Because what I have to say is so important. You say?
Because I am paying attention, and you're signaling all this stuff with your body language. Your physiology is telling me the way you're sitting, your shoulders, what you're doing with your legs, your hands.
I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, are you?
I'm really happy to see you.
You look a little incongruent to me. It's a mixed message. You're closed
Really?
or you're cold.
I'm excited about what you're saying.
Yeah, your head is nodding. So our ability to read body language, because we can misread it a lot. There's some wonderful resources out there. So you need to read body language in clusters. So you might be sitting like this. Does this mean I'm closed to your idea, or I'm cold? Now, if I add that to a head down, to an eyebrow lift, to an eye roll, now you can read it. There's a bunch of gestures happening. I got a cluster going.
So when Bill O'Reilly on Fox has this expert on body language, I'm thinking, really? You could pick that up from one gesture? Tough. You need clusters. You need patterns.
You do need patterns. And so, for example, context.
Someone's
interviewing for a job.
Yep.
And high stress situation, a lot at stake. You're so inward focused about what you're going to say, about your story, about your credentials. Will they like me? You're not paying attention to what's going on over here, the other person. So I might just start to notice what you do with your eyes, what you reach for, how you're sitting. If you are closed, my challenge is, how do I get you to open up? And there might be things I could do, could say, maybe I open up.
I'll tell you what, you got me self-conscious. No, I'm only kidding. Kathy McAfee is America's marketing motivator, and you are the best. Can you come back again?
I certainly
can. We'll pick it up from there.
Excellent.
That was
Great.
terrific.
Thank you. Thank you very much.